Hello and good evening for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. We just finished watching the sixth episode of Survivor 47, but we weren't on last week, so we'll also be mentioning episode 5. Titled in episode 6, that is, Feel the FOMO. You're going to feel the FOMO no longer because you're here with us on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. Oh, we got Jeff Mater also coming in with us now. The crew's all here. Jaemeel Robinson also with us tonight, of course. And we were at the Leaf game last week. So we had a backup show. We had Jason Phillips lined up, but he got the flu, and then we couldn't get a show going last week. So we're here to talk about episode 6, but also a little bit about episode 5 and the departure of Annika in that episode. But of course, and tonight's episode, of course, Rome. You're gonna feel the home with Rome as he goes the last pre-jury boot, and we're gonna break it all down here. Jeff Mater, how you doing tonight? No audio. Jaemeel Robinson, how are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. Wait, Annika was voted out last week?
Annika. It rhymes with Monica, remember?
Annika.
No. I don't hear you.
Annika?
Annika. Sorry, Jeff. Not yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, and she was completely stunned by, that they voted her out and not Andy. Andy took sweet revenge, and he relished her eviction, or not eviction, I guess, her vote out off the island, her exile, being sent home, if you will.
Did you enjoy the departure?
Yeah, like it was interesting to watch, somebody just completely like, how could this happen to me? Completely stunned. Yeah. And how long it went on for.
Honestly, I thought she was playing a really good game. I liked where she was positioning herself. I think choosing Andy over her is somewhat of a bad decision, but I understand why it was done. I do. And her reaction did kind of make it worth it as well.
It ultimately came down to, like, Sierra was at a crossroads. Does she keep going with Sam, and by therefore she has to choose Andy over Annika, and Rachel, as well, or which she's right in the middle. She chooses to stick with Sam and Andy. Will that ultimately be what does Sierra in the game? We will see. We're going to see the outcome. It's going to take a while to see the outcome of that particular decision from episode 5. Otherwise, I don't have a lot to say from that episode. Jaemeel,
well, the episode also had the whole Gabe and Tiana situation, and if I'm correct, or am I thinking about the previous episode?
I think you were thinking about the previous one.
Didn't they have a confrontation in this one, and Caroline had to be peacemaker?
Sure
okay. How about this? A better question, as I look like I'm frozen on screen.
I wasn't sure if it was me or it was you. So.
It's a very intense thing, so I'm just gonna leave it there like that. So let me ask you a question. Okay. What else happened in last week's episode?
Not much.
Say not much, but that doesn't necessarily give an answer. Name one thing outside of what happened with Annika.
It was a challenge.
So pretty much last week wasn't that vital in terms of like.
Okay, I'll tell you. Last week I was at the game. Oh, okay. Now I'm the only one in the screen.
No, yeah, it's coming back. Don't worry.
Okay, well, they can enjoy my face solely for the moment. Yeah. So last week, of course, we were at the game last week. I watched this Survivor episode twice. Really, I fell asleep the first time watching it, and then the second time was, I couldn't skip the parts I had already watched, so I had to watch the beginning parts again. Let's see if Jeff's audio is working now.
Work now.
Yes, Jameel's video stopped working, but he's still.
Oh.
That's not it.
Well,
technical difficulties over here.
You had a physical representation on the screen, Jaemeel.
I did. I got a little I got a little carried away.
You can always activate your avatar
Very true.
as well. Jeff, last week's episode, did you have any thoughts on Annika's being voted out and anything else sort of coming into this episode?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I only watched the recap that they did at the beginning of this episode, and I feel like I didn't miss anything. I feel like okay, she got blindsided. They chose Andy over her, and that's really all I needed to know about last week's episode, wasn't it?
Yes. That would
Okay.
be about it. Rachel was like, I thought Andy was on the bottom. Now I'm on the bottom, which is
Yeah.
how this episode started, how this particular episode. So I thought that worked well. I think they all seem to know that the merge was coming. I'm not sure if they just figured that out based on the number of days that had gone by and when to expect
They
it to come up.
know. They know before they even step foot on day one what day the merge is going to be because it's always the same now in this new groovy era of Survivor where they play 26 days. It can only be like by the time you get to like day 14, you're like, no, that's the merge is now they do this pre-merge thing. It's all like choreographed. There's no guesses. There's no like, oh,
What are you
we're
talking about? There was totally a whole new twist tonight, Jeff.
What was the new twist? They
In
had to go
episode
find
6,
something.
Yeah, because normally they broke into the two teams, but it wasn't like half of the tribe of this new group was safe, right? All but only Kyle was safe in this particular tribal, which they haven't done in the new era. Gabe was all like,
okay. I thought they. So why did they do the first challenge?
well, you still
Compare them down for the
for the
yeah.
immunity.
No. Well, also
Okay.
for the immunity, but also for the reward.
the food.
Okay, that's fair. All right, that is better. But I don't like I don't like this pre-merge thing. I've never liked it. Just merge them. Like I feel bad for Rome. He doesn't get to be on the jury, right?
Right. Yeah, and you
Wait,
get just
you feel bad for this man? I don't.
I feel bad for him. Yeah, a little bit. Like I mean, I was gonna say though when I was muted, and my audio wasn't working. I was like, it is fun to watch Rome burn. I feel like Nero with my harp.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. But at the same time, I kind of felt bad for him because I thought he took it like a champ. He
did.
Like he was like it hurts, but he's like good game. Like he wasn't a sore loser, and I kind of expected him to be.
yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, when whereas Annika last week was kind of like surprised that she got. So it was like kind of different, like the way the travels occurred. But at the same time, I was like, all right, it's sad. I was sad to see Rome not be in the merge because I thought he would have been a great agent of chaos, going forward. And those are the type of players I gravitate toward watching. I don't
Jeff,
need to watch
those kind of players that you gravitate towards. They are the players that get targeted first. Now.
Yeah, no, they are.
Always.
It's true.
People they consider them unstable elements in their quest to win $1 million, and they're not going to mess around, right? You're just gonna as soon as you can depart, because unless you're Sam, who I think is keeping someone like Andy around here as sort of a pawn for him, right, and is a number as well, and he's more willing to play with that fire. But you see how uneasy Sierra is with that sort of strategy, right? Like Sam's kind of a little bit of a maverick. Oh, Jaemeel Robinson back with us
For now.
For
It
now.
might freeze again.
Yeah. I guess, like, how bad did you feel or feel good here for Rome tonight? You got the moment where you got to host in Jeff's stool, if you will, at Tribal Council. Wants to be the protege of Jeff Probst. Were you cheering him on, Jaemeel, and hoping that this dream might come true for him one day where he's the next host of Survivor?
The man will never be the next host of Survivor because Jeff will never have. Rome isn't the type of person that Jeff would have as replacing him at all. That's one thing.
It's hard to imagine. Yeah, Rome.
Two, it was great seeing this man pumped up with gas, knowing that he was going to be gone. Like this, I think this is going to go down as one of my favorite episodes of Survivor ever. Not but one of them.
That's
just because it's rare to see someone get their comeuppance the way that he got it. It was like from the moment that feast was over, it was like everyone knew it was Rome. and he was like, "I'm the best. I'm the greatest of all time."
I
Right?
got everyone under my thumb, and like
I'm
I was like, it can't. I was like, there's no way Rome is getting voted out because they're obviously saying they all want to vote him out. Like it was 100% Rome. I was like, they never do this, right? They always try to misdirect you.
I'm Michael Jordan. He's Kevin McHale. You know, it's over. Right? It's either go Rome or go home, and Saul's going home. I'm like, oh, this is so great.
And ultimately, Saul does not even get one vote against him in this tribal. Not even Rome votes for him. Ends up voting for Sam instead. We also get a couple of votes here on Andy. I think just in case Rome somehow pulled an idol out or played some kind of advantage or
Shot in the
something.
dark or something.
Yeah, a shot in the dark or whatever might have happened. They threw a couple votes here on Andy, and of course Andy knows he was sort of like the secondary target here, or the backup plan, if you will. And I think that might all come to based on what we saw in the next time on Survivor, which we'll show in a little bit. Andy's not going to react well to this, and it could unravel all of the Sam plans, the Sam, Sierra, Andy,
Or it might galvanize Sam more because Andy's focused on a specific goal. I think that Andy gets away with a lot because he is fairly intelligent, as we've seen repeatedly. But whenever he's in social situations, it just falls apart, right? You know how they talk about your friends when they go out and they say that they're unsuccessful with women, but they're like, oh, he's so personable and he has such a great personality, he's so charming. But when he's put like when the rubber hits the road, it all falls apart. That's Andy. Andy in social situations comes across as a gigantic buffoon, right?
Yeah,
But
he's a high functioning.
confessionals,
He's a high functioning buffoon.
yes.
But yeah, I would say he's not necessarily this. I don't know.
I would
Andy
just say
is
the social aspect of it is something that he struggles with.
correct.
I would say he seems a lot more comfortable, like the way he was, like in the tribal, and like I'm seeing someone starting to kind of like get used to it. I feel like he was a very big fish out of the water for like the first pre-merge game, and now I feel like he's like kind of starting to figure it out.
12
And
days later.
yeah, and that's the thing about this era of Survivor is they all have to be great right away at confessionals, the game, the social, and some people like in the old era of Survivor got time to get to figure out how to be on the show,
Right.
and
You had to wait. You had way more days to kill.
To be fair, Jeff, the old version of Survivor also had great people completely just fall apart emotionally just because of how long it is. Like a Shane Powers who
Yep.
like just if this was who knows how long he would have been able to hold on, like how far he would have gone if it was like the new era Survivor as opposed to whatever day it was where he's sitting on a log talking on his cellular brick phone.
Mhm.
you know
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, like I think that Andy is. I'm still trying to get my read on Andy and what he's going to mean to this game. I think like the greatest stuff has not yet happened with him. Is my prediction.
I think high point is Gabler. He's a Gabler.
He might be. What, you think he'll go on to win? Is that like a?
I At this point I have to have that in my back of my head because it's not like he's not an idiot, right?
No.
No.
What he's supposed to do for the most part he does. In terms of confessional and when he has those asides, he understands the assignment,
He knew
right?
he knew right away tonight that he was the backup plan.
Yeah,
And he
immediately.
knew and he knew right away who to ask, you know. He knew to ask Sam because Sam's his closest ally, but he also knew Sam would be in on it, you know.
Sam just goes, oh, I don't know.
And Sam lied to him, and we'll see in the next couple episodes if Andy is on to Sam, that Sam's just been using him, and he's just been like this, like basically shield for Sam, and maybe we'll see Andy start to play a different game. I do agree with Jaemeel. I do think the possibility of him being an agent throughout this game is very possible because he's on the show so much.
Mhm.
And so for that reason alone, I think there's more to come with what he's going to do.
That was a great moment. I don't know. And then we saw here that the merge feast, yeah, that they go, well, so we got to have another name to throw out, right? And they, well, let's let it be Andy. And Sam's like, if it's gotta be Andy, it's gotta be Andy. Like he sells them out, right? In that merge feast.
Which I think he could have deflected that better.
Yeah.
He basically let his like that also looked bad on Sam. And I don't think Sam realized that. That's basically, oh, this guy's my ally and I'm willing to just, go, yeah, whatever, we'll take him out. Like that makes Sam look bad, but I don't
Yeah.
think Sam realizes that.
Yeah. He should have taken a page out of the book of Big Brother, Vanessa Russo, and that is like the moment that you admit something, that's social currency to be used against you, right? If he used that opportunity to deflect it, or to at least like show that he is against the idea of it, any point of Andy finding out that he is that backup plan, right? Sam will go, well, I was absolutely against it. And I wanted you to calm down. I was trying to make moves in the background and make sure that you were okay. If Andy went and fact checked it with anyone there, they would have been able to say, yeah, Sam was against it. Right? Social
Right. Or
currency.
I think you have to be careful how hard you push back, but
Well,
I think, but it,
it's like a
say like, well, maybe Andy, but maybe someone else. I don't know, like whoever. Like, why not say why not Saul, right? Like, throw it Saul in that situation because you know that Rome wants to go after Saul, so it's kind of like that was kind of what was discussed tonight. It's like, okay, well, then we'll just tell them it's each other, and then it'll be one of them and not me. Right, and so I think like Sam, there was a way out of that, but I think because Sam's a little nervous about this merge and being in this new group, he almost wanted to like make a gesture to the other not the people who merged with him from Gada, and it's
Do you think it's the him and Sierra running things type of element playing a factor, and that's why he kind of was like not pushing back?
Well, he knows that they both know that was a narrative from coming from the other tribes, right? A lot of people see them as sort of like a power duo, almost a showmance, and they're not, but they are allies. And so I think like for Sam to be fluid with Andy here, I don't know. Like I'm also curious to see how Sierra would react to that, right?
Jeff, you can hear your mouse scraping.
Oh, sorry.
I was wondering what that was.
I knew it wasn't you, Dave, because I know
I need a pad.
Dave's being too nice, and it's probably just like I could just probably see him like ticking a little bit. He's like, "What's that sound?"
I remember, yeah, I think that was happening in a radio theater or something. But
Yeah, Davin was losing his mind.
Which makes it well worth it, Jeff. So keep that in mind.
Well, okay, just to kind of recap here, episode 6. Of course, we had everything with Rachel at the top of the episode where she was like, I'm on the bottom now. What do I do now? I can't wait for this merge, which was kind of a good segue for the teaser of the episode. As basically, after that, it's all about, okay, we're merging. Everyone, we see here that red and yellow move to the blue beach. Sue has to hide the evidence. Well, she tries to wash off her idol from the leftover paint. And that's right when the new boats show up, and she's kind of still trying to hide this fact that she won the idol on the blue tribe. That ends up coming up quite a bit when they first go out there, and they're all like searching around. Like, what is all this red paint? They find all the broken pieces of the pot that Sue had hidden. Like there was quite a few moments here. Of course, Caroline and what's their name, Tiana. They figure out that what had happened, that she hadn't been cutting herself up with the machete, that she had, in fact, had found the idol. In particular, Caroline figures this out and tries to make this an alliance or a kind of a trust building moment between them, whereas Tiana doesn't come to Sue with this like sort of revelation. She handles it very differently. and this is all under when they get to the beach and they find out there's an advantage coming into this this competition, the merge competition, and they look around for, according to Saul, 1 minute, and then they all gave up, and then they just wanted to socialize. But it ends up being this buoy that gets ridden off mostly by Sam when he sees it. But I think that Genevieve, who ends up finding the advantage here, it doesn't help her win the immunity, but she. But she eventually goes out there and swims out to it. But she makes a point that this being the Blue Beach, what's the name of the Blue tribe, Tuku. She's like, all the Tukus would have noticed that this buoy wasn't there before, but apparently not. None of them noticed when they searched, right? So because it was their beach. Jeff, what was your sort of reaction to that whole lack of urgency from most of the merged tribe about this advantage that was out there? You're muted. Muted. You're muted through. Yeah.
I hit Control D, but it didn't. Anyway, I felt the same way that we all did as viewers. Who cares? What does it matter? As far as an advantage, I mean, these advantages in Survivor, do you ever remember any of them ever? Do any of them matter? Can they just stop with the advantages and
Why do you think they do it?
Because I think they need TV moments. And so tonight it was ooh, Genevieve is gonna go and swim in the ocean and go after this very obvious buoy where it's just how dumb are these people? I'm you think there's just a random buoy in the ocean by where you're filming? You think it's just
I think some people just didn't care in the sense that they're it's there, but I'm not gonna put myself out there.
Well, we also see tonight that these people who had the amulets, right? They all choose to use it here, burn the advantage or whatever, because they consider it more of a liability than an advantage at all. They get the target off your back, as Andy kind of puts it in his confessional. And there is a difference here in this new era where these players aren't hungry for those kinds of things. Where in the past, I think you had more roam types who were I'm going to search day and night. I'm going to look under every rock. I'm going to be like a Russell who's always going to be looking for the next idol.
And those people always won. Not Russell, but Tony did that. There was that Ben Tony guy did that. That Michael guy did it. Where he won all the challenges and he never slept, and they all won.
I think that it's not just a new school thing. I just think it's the individuals that got it this time. All the people who got the idol that went on the journey are all people who were at the bottom of the trial or don't have that much social capital. You have Carolyn, Teeny, and Andy. If there was ever a set of individuals who just kind of didn't really have that type of attitude to take advantage or impose themselves on a particular season, it's those three. If it was Q from last season, Q absolutely would have held on to that. Yeah, it's you two want to burn your thing, that's fine to you. You can both get voted out. I'm keeping this till the end, and you can try to vote me out, but things gonna turn around you. Q would have never let that happen. Just throw that out there like that, right? And he's from last season, right? I just think it's the type of people in general. There are people like that. What we're seeing now is situations that don't involve them, right? Rome only had 2 opportunities for an idol. He did he go on a journey? Did Rome go on a journey?
He went on one. Yeah, at least. And I think he ended up with an advantage. He had a fortunate journey.
Yeah, got the extra vote.
Extra vote.
Whereas Teeny didn't want to go on that particular one. I think she was selected because her tribe lost a challenge or something. And I think Caroline was the same thing. I think it was Andy's tribe who won that one, and Andy chose those two. Weird, and it ended up being this choice where you have these especially Caroline and Teeny, who are very, I guess I could say timid, cautious players. Both of them, they're not going to play a Rome game for sure.
If Gabe went, would Gabe have given it up?
If Gabe,
No.
no, I think Gabe is closer to a Rome type who would want to hold on to advantages and would want to play those kinds of things.
Why,
I
why
think
why would you go back to your tribe though and tell them the truth and tell them all about this advantage and how it works and like why are you just ruining the whole advantage that you're getting?
I don't want to
You're
be
just
caught in a lie. I don't want to have to be. I don't want them to
this
see
isn't
that.
Big Brother, like Survivor is especially this new era of Survivor. It's way easier to lie because people are getting voted out so fast. There's way less time to cross notes, check notes, figure out who's lying, who's not. So you can play like even way more dirty in this version of Survivor. For some reason, everyone doesn't. Everyone plays like this like nice honest game for the most part. Like you're seeing that way more, and then when like a Rome sticks out like a sore thumb and you're like, oh okay, like
Right.
that's
I
why
feel
I'm
like
kind of so frustrated with it. It's annoying.
I feel like you have sort of a player in the middle with Gabe who is who's playing more aggressive and wants to be this mastermind and wants to sort of play, I guess, more of an old school Tony kind of a game or a Boston Rob kind of a game. But he's not as aggressive. He's not as out there as a Rome. He's a little more smarter than that. I think Rome is just burning out too fast, and
Yeah. And I think Gabe would last longer because he picks his spots, which is good. He has loyal people with Sue, right? As an example, the same type of thing that you saw with a lot of those players that you mentioned, right? Um, and it's not like it was a spur of the moment type of situation. This is something that the moment it is kind of a spur of the moment, but the moment that he saw Sue, the wheels were already turning in his head, and like day one, he locked that in, right? And Sue's been ever the loyal individual for him with that. You can't say that. Like, who did Rome have? Rome had Genevieve,
Genevieve,
right?
and
And
that's
and
about
look
it.
how and he messed that up. He
And
messed that up.
well, she does. She ultimately like sells him out in this episode. She doesn't give him any kind of heads up. She's like, whatever, it's Rome.
But at the
Um,
same time, don't you think it was kind of earned in the last episode?
I'm
What
not-
happened in last episode with her? No.
Dave will tell you.
No, Jaemeel, you're the expert.
The ongoing joke is that neither of us actually remember what happened last episode.
Yeah,
Like,
I fell asleep twice basically watching this episode.
I didn't watch it.
So, I
So-
guess you're better off. But I think the
everything happened in last episode, Jeff. Just let your imagination run wild.
Okay. Okay.
even if we had watched it, it would be we'd be trying to cover 3 hours of content almost. I want to talk about also this, like, what are the dynamics coming into this merge here, right? Because so after Rome gets voted out here tonight, we have 3 original Lavos, Genevieve, Saul, and Teeny. And now we have 4 Gata, the Yellow Tribe. We got Andy, Rachel, Sam, and Sierra. And then from the Tuku Blue guys, you got 5 people. Caroline, Gabe, Kyle, Sue, and Tiana.
Nobody's winning on that trip.
Oh,
Gabe,
really?
well, what about Kyle? He's the first one to win individual immunity tonight.
Kyle's not for long for this game. He's not.
I know
for
he's too likable. They're going to target him. He's a huge final 3.
He's
threat.
gonna have to win a lot.
He's going to have to win out pretty much. Everyone's going to like him. Everyone's going to know that he's a threat to the end. So yeah, I think he'll be targeted.
Unless there's a best friend alliance, he's got to go.
But we saw here that Rome, he created all this chaos because he got all this, he talked to Kyle and he's like, Kyle thinks that Sue sucks at challenges and so does Carolyn and Tiana and this and that, and so I don't know, even though they kind of figured out what Rome was doing, I think some of that stuff is going to come back to fracture the blue group.
Did they line them up tallest to shortest?
Why are they doing? Or is this a happy circumstance? Is this like the Big Brother where they do it darkest to lightest?
It looks like tallest to shortest.
Yeah.
They're not grouped by their original tribes. I don't know. I just not sure how they got lined up in the first place. Maybe they do it by height. They're all relative. Well, not Sue maybe, but yeah. Anyway,
Second place, Sue.
Second place, Sue. Yeah, but so even though Blue has 5 people still, I don't know if they're a solid voting block.
I think everyone's split. When you're going through the list of people, there's too many people, too many fractures. So
okay, well, what are the most solid groups would you say of who's left? So like I guess off the top of my
Saul,
head, like so.
Saul, Guinevere, and Teeny. Honestly,
Okay, so you think that those Lavo three will stick together?
at this point, why not?
Why not? Okay, and let's say over on the yellow group, right? You have, let's say like Sam, Sierra, and Andy somehow keep it together. Rachel seems to be a free agent from that group. You know, more than likely.
Is Andy as solid as he like Sam might think he is? I don't think
Well,
so.
we're gonna see how it plays out with Andy, but you know that theoretically that's what is going on at the moment. And then on from Tuku, I guess Caroline and Sue are working together, and I guess by de facto, I guess Gabe is involved with that.
Let's see.
So maybe that's a three. But Tiana and Kyle, I don't know where they fit in.
Kyle's gonna be he's not gonna be like I don't think he's gonna be tribe strong. He's gonna be like I like these people type of strong, right? And that's I don't really see the strategic part of his game. He tried to what was it? He tried to tell Tiana about Gabe and that kind and Sue and
Yeah,
kind of that kind of blew up in his
everything
face.
Gabe we were seeing from Kyle in like sort of that those merge clips didn't like even though he was a beast in this challenge, he goes on to win the first individual immunity here, become the first member of the merged tribe. But like I don't what is this guy's plan to win the game exactly? Other than win every individual immunity,
He's not with this group. There's too many people good enough that there's not enough bums for him to just run the table.
right.
I don't
So
think so.
could you see like could even like these floaters without a home at the moment, like Tiana, Kyle, and Rachel somehow become a group?
Maybe. Like I honestly think that Kyle's gonna end up in like a best friend type of alliance type of deal. Where they're like, we're good people. I get that vibe from him. I might be wrong.
He'll stick with people who remind him of himself. So who
Yeah,
does
it'll be what Saul? Is that his name?
Saul?
Saul. Yeah, it'll be him.
You think
Those-
so?
Yeah, those two. I think will.
I think maybe Kyle
hard
seems to
workers.
like Sam.
What's that?
Kyle seems to like Sam, right?
Yeah. Well, won't last though. Sam's a schemer.
Sam's
Like he's
Sam
a
is a
schemer in his little game. And he'll get caught. He'll you
Yeah.
know.
And Kyle won't like that.
You know what? Kyle might end up liking Andy, especially in terms of seeing how people treat Andy.
Yeah, I could see that for sure too.
You think like Kyle's like the protector type, the more like to say, "Hey, don't be a jerk to Andy."
Yes.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know better, right?
Yeah. Well, why he wanted to take out Rome, like out of principle, not because of the game.
Yeah,
You know.
that was a secondary thing. He's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we are the game.
If Kyle had been vulnerable in this tribal, do you think they would have gone after him?
No, not first fruit.
Didn't seem like it. No. I think it probably would have been Andy.
Yeah.
You mean if like it wasn't Rome? It was
Yeah.
it was going to be Andy next. And is Andy the same kind of a player as, or not exactly the same kind of a player as Rome, but sort of like viewed as just a liability, not somebody you can go deep in the game with because they're too emotional, too unpredictable.
Yeah, for now.
Yes.
And then they're gonna get their eyes fixated on different people, and then Andy will probably not be as big a threat. People won't view him as a threat.
Yeah.
So he could Rome was always going to be viewed as a threat, whereas Andy I think can lay low if he's smart.
Rome's ego wouldn't allow him to play under the radar game even for a couple of days. He cannot help himself. He knows what good TV is, and he can't stop himself. And we've seen it. We've seen that type of player.
I guess like the philosophical question I'm asking myself from a game point of view, do you want to play more like a Sam, right? And keep around these players like Andy who you feel like you can beat in the end. You feel like they're not playing like major league ball. They're more like single A or whatever metaphor you want to use. Or do you actually target like the biggest threats as early as possible, the people who actually know what they're doing, who are actually sort of a threat to beat you in the end, or to kind of get on a different side of the numbers than you and eventually take you out? I guess, are you better to ally with people who are going to be strong players, or go against them, is the question.
You have to be careful in the latter scenario because you're not voting by yourself. You're voting with other people. And the idea that it's okay to vote out all the good players means eventually you, as a good player, are going to be up for to be voted out. So you got to kind of gas up the people that you're playing with so they think they're also a good player, so that we're just getting rid of the competition. We, the best players, want to make sure that we last longer in the game, and we got to keep each other. So you kind of
Well, does that really make sense? In Big Brother, I get it more because you want to be in the favor of who wins power. But in Survivor, it's all about majorities, right? And so it's except for one person who wins individual immunity. So you have to get consensus. I totally get it. But is it better to is the narrative like, oh well, these players suck, so we deserve to be here more. So therefore, let's get out the players who are less deserving first, and then it will all be all like the big dogs at the end. But like logically, that doesn't make sense. You'd want to get out your biggest competition, or at least a couple of them, as early as possible. Um,
I don't. I don't know. I think Survivor is the type of game that only one person can be safe. And if you're worried about the challenges that much, then I don't think you're playing the game properly. I think the thing is, like, when you're playing Survivor, once you get to the merge, the one thing you want to do is make sure there's threats to vote out later too, because you need it. Because if you're getting to a point in the game where eyes will start to look at you, and you want to avoid that. So you kind of have to play this balancing act of like keeping threats around while at the same time being in the numbers. That's kind of like what I think you need to do.
yeah,
And then you
makes
can always
sense.
get the big challenge beast out at the 5 or the 4 or the 3, you know.
Maybe. Unless
Well,
you get like who's the guy from the blue collar season that
right,
won?
Mike.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, there was no fire making challenge then. Like, there's a bunch of different ways now to get that vote, and the odds of someone winning every single challenge in the final 10 is like astronomical, I would say, in these games.
Especially this early when you have so long to go. So like when do you go after Kyle? If it wasn't if it would like if it wouldn't have been tonight, no matter what, then is it next week? Is it in 2 weeks, or do you wait till the final five to take out a Kyle?
It all depends on who you are, if Kyle's useful for you in voting. You know what
how
I mean?
insulated you are in terms of your voting block,
Yeah,
And what
if
right?
your
Kyle's
priorities are and who you want to get out first.
yeah, if Kyle's aligned with people you are not working with, vote Kyle out and use his threat level as a reason to vote him out and convince other people to vote him out.
But do it
You know?
more, yeah, to like weaken your biggest competition in a sense, strategically.
Yeah, it's all about voting. At the end of the day, the Survivor is all about like numbers and voting,
Yeah.
and it's not about who can hold onto a ball on a paddle the longest.
So
It's very little to do with the
if it
show and the
comes down to
game.
voting, like what chance does a player like Andy stand, who can't really command the respect or the sort of trust of a lot of these other players?
Well, in this new era Survivor, you get guys like Andy who get toward the end of the game, and then they get to the final 3 now. And now people, if you've noticed, I've noticed that in this new era Survivor since 41, they don't vote based off who played the best game anymore. They base their vote off likability. It's who is the most likable.
Which is why Gabe won.
Why
Gabler won. Gabler.
Gabler
Yeah.
won,
Won,
why
yeah.
Erica won, really, why
Well,
Marianne won,
to
you
be
know.
fair, Erica smashed the hourglass and changed the course of history forever. Which
That
is
was a big move. That was
yeah,
a big move.
which is like, hey, if I was able to put that on my resume, you know,
Yeah.
who
I
knows?
smashed the hourglass and I changed the course of history.
Like,
And the thing is, like, now with it being 26 days, there's way less like time to manipulate. It's all fast, rapid fire. So, like, yeah, you are gonna base your vote off likability. and so like that's kind of the issue to me with Survivor. It should be a little bit longer so people have more time to make moves or maneuver or have to lie or manipulate. And we don't see that
Get
a lot, you know?
annoyed or get annoyed by people.
Or get annoyed by people, you know, like yeah.
There used to be a lot of like the interpersonal conflicts used to be such more of a feature of the episodes, and now that's I don't know if there's they just get along more now. Maybe it's because of the shorter season, but
It's like, just imagine you get to the merge, right? In how many days? It's been 12 days for
12
the
days.
12 days,
They're roughly halfway done.
right? Just imagine if it was like 39 days. What was it? It was 18, like, or 19 before merge.
It was at least that. Like, hold on, I need to go back to like Survivor 1 or whatever.
So like you're like, if you had destroyed the other teams and you had this annoying person on your team, you're desperate. You're desperate to get rid of that one person, right? Or you spend this time with the individuals. You could be in a merge just as long as it is now to get to the merge here.
The
right?
merge,
With people.
like if you go back to season 1, back to Borneo, like that merge happened on day 21. So that
It's like almost double the time.
right, it's like it's a lot more significant. It's at least a week more, a week and a half basically.
So you'd have 21 days possibly of Greg, wandering in the forest with his coconut phone, talking gibberish. You'd be like, I need to get this dude out ASAP, Rocky. If he's in the finals, I'm like, I remember the 21 days of this dude pissing me off before I got eliminated. There's no chance in hell I'm giving this person $1 million. Right? Where it's like, oh, it's 12 days, 2 weeks. I blinked and I was gone. And I'll give this guy $1 million.
Maybe it wasn't that bad. I only knew him for 5 days.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've known him for 17 days, you're like, fuck this guy. Or this, whoever it
like
is.
it used to only be always was 2 tribes, and now we're in this era. Like over the course of like these 20 something years and 47 seasons, they've come up with this philosophy that like we got to keep these people, like we can't let them get stagnant. We have to keep moving them around, shuffling the deck. We got to get them to the merge as quickly as possible, get to the individual stage, because everyone's got the FOMO. They've got the fear of the FOMO, and they have to at least make the merge. That's also like kind of the Big Brother peril now, where there's always like, well, if I'm a pre-juror, then I'm nothing.
No, you heard tonight. You're a little child still in elementary school, and you're not a high schooler.
You're junior high at best.
Yeah, junior high. The Rome is the junior high. He made it to junior high, and then that, now they're going to high school.
Yes, but Rome didn't make it to junior high, right?
No, Rome was in junior high. He made it to the merge. He made it to the fake merge.
Yeah.
Right.
So
junior high is the Rome spot. High school's the official merge, and then elementary school is the pre-merge.
Okay.
Is the Annika stage.
And when you win and you get to come back, that's university.
Yeah, I think that Andy kind of broke it down for us, right?
Andy, you were nodding.
Every single day out here is a lesson, is a gift, is its own adventure. I don't want to minimize that experience if I lose out tonight. But when you think about the legacy of Survivor, you're like, oh, I'm a pre-merger. Like, that's your identity. And so you want to be known as someone who made an impact in this game, and it starts tonight. And if you just miss out, you're going to feel the FOMO.
He's talked to a Red about experiences from previous survivors. He's done his research.
Yeah, but like, don't you feel like that's always the thing now? Is like, oh, I gotta play it safe. I just gotta get down with an alliance, a solid majority alliance. This is Big Brother too, and just hold on until that stage, and then I can maybe start to think about playing. But at this point, you might be so.
Majority of people don't ever switch gears from that. I just got to be safe. One more.
Right, they don't. They get
Sandra won that way, but they're
twice.
not Sandra. They're not Sandra at the same time. So you have all these timid, shy people just saying, I don't want to blaze out too quickly. So let me, just go with the numbers. Just swallow my pride and just one more tribal.
Just
one
smile.
More
Don't let those things like interpersonal conflicts, like little like personality clashes, get me voted out.
And then they get voted out, and they're they're forgotten, right? They're nothing, right? In terms of who they are and their impact in the game, right? Next year, we're gonna think about Andy and Rome, right? We're not gonna be thinking about
That's
remember.
We're not gonna remember Caroline.
It's like
we will not
Annika,
remember Caroline.
remember
at all.
Annika and how she stared down her tribe after voting her out, right? Played it way too safe.
I remember that moment. Might not remember her.
No, I'm gonna remember when what's her name? I forget her name. Sorry, but I remember her asking for the jacket. You know.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who did it.
Well, remember,
Her name was oh, it was like it started with an M. Oh,
the person who got voted out, I think, started with the M.
yeah.
It's like, can I get your coat? Can I?
I want to say Mackenzie, but it wasn't a Mackenzie. It was something.
Mackenzie. It was a black mama. It was a black mama.
Yeah, I don't recall that. But like,
that
I guess
moment,
I remember Q. I remember like him from last.
And the cute skirt.
The Q skirt. I remember him saying he would send her ass back to Canada.
I would send her ass back to Canada.
Yeah, I remember that. You know, I remember certain personalities like Jake. You know, with the Boston accent and
Oh yeah.
Right, like
Whoa! Sorry, whoa.
But look at the people around them. Just they might as well blank faces.
I still have I'll send her ass to
But I
Canada.
have to make sure Venus understands. I put my game on the line and told you exactly what is going to happen. If you're going to be ungrateful, I'll send your ass back to Canada.
So what are you?
Wait, he's coming back for 50, right?
I hope so.
Dude has to come back to 50.
I'll send your ass back to Canada. I don't care, Venus.
Like Q, Rome, like all the people gas themselves up. Please, I want like the most hectic season ever.
I would be down for that. Like throw a Rome in there, bring back Saul just to have that conflict as well. You know, even though I'm curious to see what Saul does without Rome now, moving forward. But you know,
see, my problem with bringing back Saul is there's too much time in between seasons and too much social stuff happening. So right after the season, Saul and Rome are like joking and like high-fiving and at a party, you know, and it's like, oh, it's all under the water, under the bridge. I don't like none of that. I want like, I don't like
you want these two to hate each other forever.
I want like, does Natalie White and Russell have Sunday barbecues together? Hell no.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any Christmas cards either.
It's great. That's the type of feelings I want. Right, and Rome's the perfect person to elicit that.
I guess there's always this feeling like, well, after the show's over, we're gonna go like do events and we're gonna do autograph signings and Q&As or whatever they do.
Nah.
And
kayfabe, baby, gotta be kayfabe.
Gotta be kayfabe, I guess.
Yeah.
They should do like a Survivor, like Mortal Enemies season. So they bring people in like two tribes, like, but whoever's on the opposite tribes are mortal enemies, like
not the opposite of blood versus water. Like,
yeah, blood versus blood,
blood versus oil.
Okay,
yeah, blood versus oil.
So for Sandra, is it Russell or is it Johnny Fairplay?
I think Fairplay would be a great one. With Russell, you could. There's so many people.
So many choices.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Not busting around.
Sandra and Russell.
Maybe like a coach or something, or like a Rupert. Would be great to bring in with Russell.
Rupert versus Russell.
Honestly, I think nowadays people like Russell a lot more than Rupert.
Like what a classic era rivalry are most likely to actually like to flip the script and work together in that kind of situation, right? Put their past differences aside. There's got to be
Brandon, Hance, and Philip.
No,
that would not. They would. Philip would not be putting the differences aside. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Philip is great. Just imagine a tribe that has Q, Rome, Philip.
Right.
Yeah, and so I kind of enjoyed like the whole Rome and Saul dynamic that had been going on this season. The fact that Saul kind of gets the last laugh in this episode. They
need to focus on Saul more at that ending. At that ending tribal, they should have focused on him, especially when Rome got voted out.
They gave him a little bit,
Not enough.
Right.
They kind of tried to like, and they did a good job. Like they made me kind of feel bad for him by the end. But the whole season, I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna
Did
be
you feel for
he's his
Rome
own
tonight when he was like, "I was the guy who was too small. I don't have a lot of confidence," and I was
No,
like,
that was all bullshit. He said it was bullshit.
Yeah, that was great.
Do you feel like deep down that's Rome doesn't have good self confidence?
No, I think that was all nonsense. He was trying so hard to play everybody, which is like the worst thing you can do at the merge. Like you're supposed to kind of keep your mouth shut and just see who people go after and just
Yeah.
latch onto that. Like the one girl, I think it might have been Caroline, was like, "I'll just go with whoever the majority's going for." Like like that is what you're supposed to do at the merge. Unfortunately, that's the way
Especially
it
the
works.
first
And you just hope you don't get picked.
Yeah.
You
just
you
hope
don't.
it's not you. And
Yeah,
then
you just hope it's
go
not
from there.
you. And so the thing, and that's the thing, is someone has to pick those people, and Rome had enough balls to think that he was gonna start off shit to be the one to pick the person. Who did he vote for? Sam tonight? Was that Rome's
And
vote?
then he goes, I know you hate me, Saul, but I'm not even going to vote for you in the end. And he votes for Sam.
Like,
I know you're going home, but
so he thought Saul was going home tonight,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
no one voted for Saul at all.
right?
It doesn't get one vote against him in the whole thing. It's hilarious.
I just needed like a really deep like Saul smirk.
There you go, Jaemeel.
No, I needed to be like, and then a smile come up.
He kind of looks like the bully from Squid Game. I don't know if you guys watched Squid Game,
Yeah.
but like the main bully guy, he kind of looks like that guy. He's nothing like him in the show, or whatever.
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
but
okay,
he-
like when Saul was like yelling at Rome in that like thing he was trying to do with Gabe, and even Gabe had to like tell off Saul at one point in the challenge tonight, where he's like, "Oh, we got this," and of course they didn't have it, and I was like, of course Rome wanted to be on that maze puzzle where you could get the ball through to the end, and they ended up getting beat up by Sam and I think Sam and I can't remember, I think Sierra, or I can't remember who was on the other side, but with Sam, but
Look, they didn't lose that challenge there. They lost their challenge at the wall. They used way too much energy.
you think
just to
Blue
get
got
the
up
wall.
Blue got up there first, but then
Yeah.
they end up losing, right?
Yeah, because they killed themselves doing that, and then like Gabe is part of the people going back down to help people up,
True.
and then he has to go. Then he has to steady himself to do a puzzle. It made no sense.
I didn't understand why Gabe. Well, you understand why Rome does it because that's
I
just what
know.
Rome does, right? But Gabe's like he's like a Rome, but like more tempered, right? And I think that's ultimately what we're gonna see.
I think Gabe would step up, right, and
Yeah.
say, "Okay, I'll do it if no one wants to do it." That's Gabe. Rome's like, "Don't worry, I got this," type of deal, right? Which is the difference. Whereas why Gabe, when he loses, he can be angry because he will say he's angry at himself, right? And then he's the type of person like, "Man, I'm sorry, guys. I thought I would do better." Rome's not like that.
Like I wanted to see how these teams were determined. It must have been random, right? Because there's no way that like in a schoolyard pick somebody chose to put Rome and Saul on the same team, right?
Well, honestly, if I knew them, I would do it.
Just so your team could lose.
No, well, I mean, like,
The best
Just
was the best moment for me also was tonight when Saul goes to Jeff. Hey, can we swap out on this? And Jeff goes, no. Just straight up no.
Jeff not willing to negotiate.
And Saul just dying there watching Rome mess up another challenge, right? And then that's what Saul later on, or Rome later on, is crying to people about.
Wait, one thing I missed with this episode. What happened to the 18 eggs?
The chickens died, I think.
No. Oh, see, you forgot about last episode, right? Last episode, they traded the chickens for 18 eggs.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next episode is the merge, where they didn't have fire, right? So they only had fire for that night, leading into the morning of the merge. So what happened to those 18 eggs? If you didn't make the merge feast, wouldn't you be like, let's cook up those eggs?
I think so. Yeah.
I would have done that, Jeff.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Kyle was the other one on the other side of the puzzle with
Yeah.
Sam here.
Who was on the puzzle for the blue?
Isn't it Gabe and Rome?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Saul-
I kind of get Rome, but I don't think Gabe's very good at that
No,
stuff.
And
Gabe's
Jaemeel made
Gabe's
a
Gabe's
point that Gabe went up the wall first for blue, then he comes back down and he gets
Right.
Caroline up the wall or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he's so probably burned out
Yeah.
that he's trying to do this puzzle with Rome, who is just going a mile a minute.
Couldn't they have put like what's his name?
Saul?
Saul and what
Jeff, are you asking to swap someone out? No.
No,
Yes.
can we swap out Jeff? No.
No.
They could have put Saul and Andy on it, maybe.
Yeah, I was
don't know.
saying Andy. That was Saul and Andy probably should have done
Or
it.
Saul, even Saul and Caroline. I don't think this guys have to do this necessarily. It just ends
You
up
know,
being all men. But
No, yeah, like could have definitely been the girls doing it, but they, she's checking her nails there at the back, so that's important.
yeah, that's how it goes. I think that the story of Saul and Rome, I feel like could be sequelized in another season. While we're on the challenges, let's just touch on they brought back the bow balancing challenge, and I thought that was interesting that ultimately it comes down to Sue and Kyle in this, and they both had that same technique where they're kind of angling it sort of off center so that it doesn't slide quite as easily up and down the ramp. In Sue's case, she was angling the bow towards her. In Kyle's case, angling away from him. But same kind of approach, and they end up being the ones, one of the tallest and one of the shortest, end up kind of going to the end.
Sue's going to win immunity in one of these individual challenges. She's going to.
She's only 45 years old, Jaemeel, so she's got all these years ahead of her.
What? No, I heard something different. I heard she was 38, right? No, 45. No, she's actually.
She says
58.
she's 45, but she's actually 58.
Yeah.
But that moment where she goes to Saul. Saul's like, "I'm 42." She's like, "I'm 45." Like, look how good we look.
Such a good moment.
Like, does he really buy it? Is he buying this that she's 45? Okay. Yeah.
You never question a woman's age.
No, not publicly at least. You don't let on, even if you suspect.
That's when you like you jim the camera. You look at the camera and you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
I feel like this is also the Batman season because the bats are over everything in this season, and Kyle even has a bat tattoo on his back of his neck. There's bats all over.
There's no way I'm letting this man win this season. No way.
There's no way. Well, what I wanted to ask you guys is, what is the power rankings of who's left? Like, who would you say has got, as of right now, the best chance to win this game?
Gabe and Sue. Let me win Survivor, baby.
Gabe and Sue are who you see going sort of the end, and then after them, who else is standing out to you? Or is that just because that's your draft team?
That's my draft team.
No, you had Keyshawn. You don't have Sue. Sue, who has Sue?
I like Sue. Okay, so
Amanda
Gabe
has
and
Sue.
yeah, I like Sue.
I do like Genevieve's chance.
I think
she's very even tempered and
she seems like somebody who's going to go far in this. Yeah. She seems like she's going to be a careful, methodical, loyal, probably player. Although she,
but not loyal to a fault, which is
not
good.
to a fault.
That was one thing I was worried with Rome.
Yeah,
so.
she was loyal until she couldn't be anymore. I think Teeny is standing out to me as somebody who could do good. You're not buying that, Jaemeel.
No, she's too
I'm not
timid.
buying that.
She's too timid.
Too timid, yeah.
Like I'm not buying Caroline either.
No,
who is buying Caroline stock? It's
hey, remember she once she knew she got the Survivor, she went mountain climbing in South America.
Well, that's good.
She got money. So
what about Saul?
I like Saul. I don't think he's winning.
It's hard to imagine, but I don't think it's impossible.
I never said it was impossible. I would put him higher than a lot of people.
I feel like he's higher. Yeah, he's not like. I think he's got a better chance to win than Andy, and better chance to win than even someone like Rachel, maybe. And I
would disagree with Andy. I would absolutely agree with Rachel. He has a better chance than Kyle because I don't think Kyle's making it to the end.
What about Sam?
Sam is too obvious in how much of a schemer he is.
So he'll go at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be targeted sooner than later. Gabe, I don't know. I think Gabe is the same kind of a thing. I think Gabe is gonna be targeted sooner than he won't be.
As long as Gabe has Sue, I think he has one extra life. So
We never see them ever working together, Gabe and Sue. But I
you
guess
see Sue reporting back to him like a loyal lieutenant.
that's true. That's true. Well, we'll see
Eventually,
how-
unless Sue decides to like go, hey, I don't need Gabe.
but Sue hasn't even told Gabe about her idol, has she?
Do we know?
I don't think so. I don't think she's told him. Right. So I think, well, maybe that's good for Sue. I don't know how to read on that exactly. And Sierra. What about my draft pick, Sierra? Team Dave. Along with Saul Power.
I like Saul, not Sierra.
Sierra seems like she doesn't have enough agency.
Yeah,
He's,
I think she took a step back when she decided to undermine her own game by
Sticking
voting
with
for
Sam.
Yeah,
Well, they're getting married one day, so we'll have to see.
okay.
double wedding.
Double wedding. Tiana, where does she fit in?
It's kind of like a tertiary character right now on
Yeah.
the show.
Right.
I think she's just an antagonist for Sue and Gabe, and then her story is going to be over. Because that's what I honestly feel like. What is like? Do I feel her agency to win? And I don't feel it.
No, it doesn't feel like she's getting the winner's edit at this point
No.
either, right? You know,
She's a thorn in Sue and Gabe's side, and then once that story's played, either one of them gets eliminated or all of them get eliminated.
but she is close with Caroline, right?
Oh,
Maybe like we're not even sure. I feel like there's so much. How could we have watched like at this point something like probably 20 hours of this show of this season because each episode's an hour and a half.
Mhm.
Hold on, I can figure this out.
he's doing the math.
1.5 hours times 6 episodes, so we're 9 hours in. Sorry. Okay.
Close to 20. You were close.
I was halfway there. It will be 20, I guess, by the end of this. So, I feel like there's like, how come we don't know that as much? Like, do we waste too many time on challenges and
Stupid
rewards?
advantages that really have
And
no
advantages.
consequence on the show at all, and no one
so
cares.
Jeff's like, you're breaking my heart with these amulets. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I love that they told him to his face, like these advantages suck, Jeff. Like it was like great. He was like, oh my god, what?
What if we gave them a bunch of amulets and then they had to work together to use them, right? But like they might just throw them away all at once. That might be a scenario. Oh,
Wow.
whatever.
Okay, if that happens, we'll do it again in 5 seasons, and everyone will forget. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it was.
I
I
just-
don't know.
I just feel like the lesson that's going to be learned from that is going to be we're gonna break other things because we couldn't get this one thing to work. I feel that's what's going to be the takeaway, not like, hey, this specific thing is dumb.
Yeah. And did we touch on this already? The big moment here with Rome in the chair with Jeff and all that.
I was like, I thought like that would never happen like 20 years ago, like not a chance in hell.
Has Jeff
You know.
softened?
Make a wish, kid.
Yeah,
This felt like a Make-A-Wish moment.
It does kind of.
Did Jeff know that Rome was going here and he kind of did this for?
He,
he offered
it.
it. He
did
offered
offer
it to
it.
him.
He knew that man was gone. He was dead. DOA.
Right.
Yeah, he knew he was dead, and he also knew that that he would like relish doing it because he's a commentator, right? So
Yeah.
he, so.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was fine. Yeah, but I guess 20 years ago, Jeff, no way in hell he does that. Right?
No, not even 10 years ago he would have done that.
He's like, "Don't you come near my seat. You better sit back down." I'll
He used to
eliminate
get
you
mad at
myself."
people all the time.
Yeah, he used to be like he used to be way more tense. Like I think that was mostly Mark Burnett making him intense back in the day, but
Now he's just smoking up on the island on this side of the
yeah,
island.
he's chill. He's got his weed. He's chilling
Yeah.
on Fiji like most of the year. Like, he's
He's
alright.
there with his bong, and then it's like
he's probably got a permanent
There's
setup
a
now.
medevac, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he's like waving himself down. It's like, I don't want to smell like weed in front of the contestants.
It's not like they were going from like continent to continent back in the day and like
No,
new
he has-
locations.
He has a whole routine he does where he like works out in the morning, he goes to production meeting, he goes works out again, Then he goes to a challenge for like an hour and a half, and then he goes back to his like little or like, whatever his trailer is or his house.
He finds a self-help book that he goes and he reads while he smokes his bong.
Well, good on him.
He has a Survivor Challenge bong or something.
So just let's have a quick listen to the Rome exit here, and see if we feel anything more.
Well, I got blindsided, and I should have seen it coming. But at the end of the day, that's my only regret. Didn't make the merge, but I mean, I got to sit in Jeff's seat at a legendary tribal council. I played super hard, and I might have ruffled a few feathers here and there, but hopefully, I brought a little bit of entertainment.
Which is all you can ask for, honestly. Like, I do think he had the right attitude as far as like being on the show. And I wish there were more people like him on the show that like realize they're on a TV show. They're not just playing a game. Like you have to make yourself entertaining to.
You'd rather have a Rome than a teeny.
100 times out of 100.
Yeah. I like you, Aisha, or was it Aisha? Asia. I like you, Asia. I like what you've done, and I'm going to be loyal to because I've seen you in something that I'm a fan of. Versus, like, if it was Rome's like, I'm gunning for you. I'm going to take you out, right? I'm going to have you back on that podcast, talk about how I totally destroyed you. That would be Rome's idea. And that's a lot more entertaining than fangirling over someone.
Yeah, that's on a podcast.
It's the same way I used to feel about people who would play like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? And everyone just wanted to get to that like 32,000 level, and then they might, depending on how many lifelines were left, they might go for it. But eventually, they're going to walk away and take the cash versus that chance of like losing half of it or whatever. Yeah. And most people are like that. Most people are pretty safe, and they're they don't like to gamble too much, and they like to sort of be whatever. Right. And I don't think they're fun to watch in these games as much. But most people are like that. So it's hard to cast the outliers exclusively because there's just not enough of them. I think maybe there is, and maybe they just feel like they don't want to load up a cast with that many type of crazies. But
I'd watch it.
I would watch it too.
Okay, so I was on a game show, and when I was on the game show, there's the initial period where you are trying to like figure out exactly what it is because you just kind of brought into the situation in general. But at a certain point, there's a comfort level that comes into play, and it isn't just a matter of playing the game; it's actually enjoy playing the game, right? And like that's why when I was on game show, people can't find it. I'm trying to find copies of it to see it again. You start like asking stuff to do stuff because you want to have fun. You want to make it fun, right? Even if you lose, right? Making it fun is part of it, right? Because you remember these moments when people, put themselves out there and did something or tried something or, expressed themselves in a certain way. So like, for example, for spoiler alert, I got to the finals of an episode I was on, right? And I told the producers that if I made it to the finals, I have my Karate Kid Tangui, its headband that I would wear, right? And I had the host like, sure, I'll tie it up. And I played the last round with it on, right? Mm-hmm. And I lost. I lost.
You tried. Like, you had fun with it?
Yeah, I had fun with it. It was a really good question they got me on. But like, I put my hands on my knees, right? Like just like put my head down on like, I can't believe I lost. And then the host also did almost the exact same thing. So this is a shot where it looks like we're bowing to each other, right? And it's on watching that other episodes of Game Show, it's pretty cut and dry, right? But when you have moments like that where it just kind of stands out where something different happens, it at least you're trying, and that's all I want, right? You're on a show, try. Don't like, I'm just gonna stay, I'm gonna keep kind, I'm just gonna ride things out until I get deep into the game, and then they do nothing and get eliminated, right? Just absolute waste. Roll the
Yeah.
dice.
Roll the dice, have a little more risk. I agree, but I think that's not what we're going to end up seeing most of the time, sadly.
No, not when they cast people that play safe.
Yeah.
That's like
But I think that's most people. So if you try to eliminate people who play it safe, you're eliminating most of the pool.
yeah, but that's what they used to do. Like they did used to cast people. They would ask them questions like, "What would you do in this situation?" And, well, you would play
I
it
think
safe.
there just used to be
out,
more
not-
of those types of people too. I think
okay.
that the propensity to do
Well,
that. I think because there's also like this idea of like, what is my image going to be after the show? How am I going to go live on in social media? What kind of events am I going to play? Could I be cast on another show like The Challenge or whatever? The more likable I am, the more or at least.
But how are you likable by playing safe?
Like, there's always people who love everybody, right?
Yuck.
I don't know. Not for me either, but like there are people that build, I don't know, huge followings.
Look,
of that.
if Russell Hantz was on Dancing with the Stars, was on Great Canadian Bake Off, he was on other things, I would watch it because he's such like an engaging personality, and to see him interact with other people in other situations is enticing. Versus,
Hey, this is Russell Hantz. This is the Great Canadian Bake Off. Let's go.
I'm gonna steal her her spatula, see if this dumb blonde is able to
see if she can make her cake now.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that without her pan grease.
Steal all the butter. Show what having the butter.
I still got butter. I'm just as reveling in it.
You gotta do shortening. See how good our stuff comes out then.
I'm Special Agent Philip, and if you didn't know, I went undercover for 3 years as a great baker in.
I was on a stakeout where I played the part of a baker, so I could be there early morning.
So I'm gonna make you a traditional native spread, because I'm 2/14 a Chippewa with my feather handed to me by my high chief, bullshit that he would say. It'd be great, fantastic. Like, honestly, I told myself I'm going to read that Agent Shepard book that he wrote. I think he wrote or was inspired by him, right? It's worth it. Like, let's see come on, let's put some razzle dazzle.
I've been going back and I've been listening to a lot of the Derek Levasseur true crime podcast. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
It's got way too many ads, but
Right.
That's with everything.
He didn't make enough money on Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not with this one. Minimal ads.
And the best is that Derek has to sell you like these ads go on for like 7 minutes, and he's like, "You need to try this."
So how many times does he advertise Blue Chew?
I skip them mostly.
Or Bet360 or whatever.
But even when you're trying to skip them, like, oh my god, how long does this
Sherry's Berries.
Yes. Note to podcasters who might be listening to this, no better way for me, or not even podcasters, people who advertise podcasts, no better way for me not to want to try your product is with you just inundating shows with, advertisements. Just automatically, I'm just uninterested in your product whatsoever.
You're in the 99%. They're just trying to get that 1%, Jaemeel.
Mm.
Well, let's have a look at next week's episode quickly. I didn't catch most of this at the end of the episode, so this is a little bit me watching it for the first. I know it has to do with Andy.
We get rid of God. I need to take control. If they're going to come for me, I need to get them first.
Next time on Survivor.
We gotta get a boy out.
We're going to eat all of the men.
Can I hug you?
Of course. These people are just tools for me to use.
No one knows what I'm about to pull.
He jimmed the camera. Game jimmed the camera.
Yeah, he did jib the camera.
I'm concerned.
So the couple things there, we said that maybe Andy's going to betray Sam and Sierra and help vote out the former GADA members. Eat them before they eat me.
Then the women are going to eat the men, so it's going to...
Which never happens.
According to Teeny, the women are coming for the men. We'll see if that
never happens.
Who's
Who's outside of Sue? Who do you believe, without a doubt, is going to win a challenge?
And even if they do,
Genevieve?
Genevieve.
Maybe Genevieve.
That's not even if the men were like, we need to come together as men and vote together, that would never last. It's very rare unless they're all kind of really they're bonding.
There's
and they
some
have
real bros, but
there's
I
some
don't
real bros and have a good bond. That's not gonna work, like this whole thing, like where like the women always do this in all these reality TV shows. It's just like I think they need to kind of give it up, like with the whole we're
Jeff.
coming together as for a gender,
Jeff, no. The moment I ever end up on Big Brother US, the first night, I'm talking about starting an all women's alliance. I'm straight up. Straight up.
Just to
Right,
be
but
getting
you're
out of
in
the
it?
way. Can we just talk about starting the All Women's Alliance to get that out of the way for the season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting it first night.
Yeah. What's the name? What's the name of the all? How about Jameel's Angels?
Are you in the alliance, Jameel? No, not exactly.
Not exactly. I'm alliance adjacent.
Yeah, I'm more of an architect, really, a producer, a benefactor, if you will.
Yes.
So anyway, and we also Saul says he's gonna get something going here.
He wins an advantage. That's basically it.
Okay. All right. Well, the next episode is called. Actually, I don't know. It hasn't been released yet.
To be determined.
Sorry, I thought normally this is out already, but I guess not. Sorry, it was anticlimactic. Foster lost Rome in the draft, so that's that. And I guess that's it for the episode, guys. We caught up on it all.
Dave, where can we see you next?
You can see me tomorrow night on Live Long and Podcast. We're doing the live stream review of Season 5, Episode 1 of Star Trek Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Lower
Decks. As we're the title episode Dos Ritos, I believe. Oh, I was trying to add the graphic and then I realized I was in the video clip. Sorry. Well, I was just saying tomorrow night here on Live Long and Podcast, we'll be talking about Dos Ritos. I keep saying Doritos, but it's Dos Cerritos. Here we go. So look out for that on the Live Long and Podcast channel, YouTube channel. If you're into Star Trek, it's going to be some fun. We got some doppelgangers. Get to be some hijinks going.
But is it going to be Mirrorverse doppelgangers? I didn't see any beards and mustaches.
It looks like more like multiverse doppelgangers than mirror specific. As well, and then on Sunday we're going to be on also on Live Long and Podcast doing a Star Trek: The Next Generation episode review of the of Conspiracy, the penultimate episode of Season 1. As we are wrapping up our Season 1 coverage.
Oh yes,
just in time for Halloween, Jeff.
Perfect.
Yeah, so check that out on Sunday afternoon. I'll be on.
I think everyone needs to watch that episode because it pays so much. It's such a building block for future stories in TNG history.
It's not, and that's what Adam's big complaint is. So there is a storyline in Star Trek Online if you want to hear more.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there is kind of a sequel. All right, well, I think that's it, unless I'm forgetting anything, Jaemeel. So
nope.
You can sign off for tonight, and we'll leave you with this. Don't fear the FOMO. Here we go. Good night.
Andy, you were nodding.
Every single day out here is a lesson, is a gift, is its own adventure. I don't want to minimize that experience if I lose out tonight. But when you think about the legacy of Survivor, you're like, oh, I'm a pre-merger. Like, that's your identity. And so you want to be known as someone who made an impact in this game, and it starts tonight. And if you just miss out, you're going to feel the FOMO.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.